A lot of our heroes have fallen this past week. A Saudi government operated comedy festival in Riyadh has apparently snatched up every big name in stand up: Bill Burr, Jimmy Carr, Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Tom Segura, Hannibal Buress, Pete Davidson, and on and on and on. Some of these names are really, really remarkable. So here is Mark Moran doing a pretty funny bit about this.
Riyadh Comedy Festival. I don't know if you heard about that. This is true. There's a Riyadh, Saudi Arabia Comedy Festival. I mean, how do you even promote that? You know, like from the folks that brought you 9/11, 2 weeks of laughter in the desert. Don't miss it. I mean, the same guy that's going to pay them is the same guy that paid that guy to bonesaw Jamal Khashoggi and put him in a fucking suitcase. But don't let that stop the yucks. It's going to be a good time. Full disclosure, I was not asked to perform at the Riyadh Comedy Festival, so it's kind of easy for me to take the high road on this one. Easy to maintain your integrity when no one's offering to buy it out, you know.
Now, David Cross, who, if you were a fan of Curb Your Enthusiasm, that was probably what he's best known for. He wrote quite a banger here that I think summed up everyone's feelings pretty well, certainly mine. My thoughts on the Riyadh Comedy Festival. What do you think I think? I am disgusted and deeply disappointed in this whole gross thing that people I admire with unarguable talent would condone this totalitarian fiefdom for what? A fourth house? A boat? More sneakers? We can never again take seriously anything these comedians complain about unless it's complaining that we don't support enough torture and mass executions of journalists and LGBTQ peace activists here in the States. I never know what they're going to do with that alphabet next. Or that we don't terrorize enough Americans by flying planes into our buildings. I mean, that's it. You have a funny bit about how you don't like Yankee candles or airport lounges. Okay, great. But you're cool with murder and or the public caning of women who were assaulted and by having the audacity to be assaulted were guilty of engaging in adultery. Got any bits on that? These are some of my heroes. Now look, some of you folks don't stand for anything, so you don't have any credibility to lose. But my God, Dave and Louie and Bill and Jim, clearly you guys don't give a shit about what the rest of us think. But how can any of us take any of you seriously ever again? All of your bitching about cancel culture and freedom of speech and all that shit, done. You don't get to talk about it ever again. By now, we've all seen the contract you had to sign. You're performing for literally the most oppressive regime on earth. They have slaves, for fuck's sake. All right. Now, I think there's competition for most oppressive regime on earth, but point taken. This is pretty funny. Somebody redid the poster riffing on the They Live zombies. That's a pretty good take.
Yeah.
Abe, we have one right back here, hugging David.
Sure.
Amoral, evil, vitriolic backlash builds against comics who played Riyadh Festival. Pete Davidson shocked a lot of people, of course, because his father was a firefighter killed on 9/11. This is what he said. I've heard there's subreddits of like, I think all these people are in bed with that. I just, I get the routing and then I see the number and I go, I'll go, Pete said. I've been getting a little bit of flack just because my dad died in 9/11. So they're like, how could you possibly go there? Silly. That's so silly. Why would anybody think that? Why would anybody think you would not want to go play the country that the hijackers came from, whether they were put up to it or not?
Should have just taken the money and been like, okay, I guess this is for my dad, right? So I don't have to go.
Yeah,
right.
this
You're just
is
sending me reparations. These are
instead
reparations.
of a lawsuit.
Exactly.
One of the most heartbreaking figures to take the money has been Dave Chappelle, and going to David Cross's point, exactly. You fucking Dave Chappelle. You need the money. It's not like you haven't worked since the Chappelle show. He's got a huge deal with Netflix. They've given him tens of millions of dollars. Like, why would you light your integrity on fire this way? Like, you really need the money that bad? Like, the top number I've heard that anyone got paid is 1.5 million. Chappelle don't need 1.5 million.
Yeah, it's really crazy. It's just really craven.
Unreal, man, especially with what it's going to do to your public image. Like,
Yeah.
this is the kind of thing that a lot of the people who have supported these anti-cancel culture comics are going to walk away over. So why do that? Like, you've destroyed your credibility forever. David Cross is exactly right. Like, in the future, Dave Chappelle says some shit that I agree with. Am I going to do a segment on it? No, I'd be embarrassed to prop him up like that after this. Same with Bill Burr. Right now, this is from Dave Chappelle in his set. Right now in America, they say that if you talk about Charlie Kirk, that you'll get canceled. I don't know, man. We've been talking about Charlie Kirk plenty for a month. We haven't gotten canceled. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to find out. It's easier to talk here than it is in America. Wow, man. Did he exercise his throat muscles with a cucumber before he went over there?
Well, it's easy when they pay you $1 million to come and do a show over there. Like, it's easy for you to talk there.
Well, of course. Sure. Yeah. At the end of his set, Chappelle told the audience of 6,000 that he feared returning to the United States because he believed, quote, they're going to do something to me so that I can't say what I want to say. He then told fans that in order to alert them if something had happened, he would use a code phrase, quote, it's got to be something I would never say in practice, so if I actually say it, you'll know never to listen to anything else I say after that. Chappelle said, here's the phrase, I stand with Israel. Now, normally I would applaud that, but in this case, it just plays as craven, given the people that you're talking to, who are not much better than the Israelis themselves. Now, here's somebody who didn't take the money, who, to her credit, released the contract that you got from Saudi Arabia so nobody could bullshit, as some of them tried to do, that they weren't given any restrictions on what they could say. This is Atsuko Akatsuka. The money coming straight from the Crown Prince. The money is coming straight from the Crown Prince, who actively executes journalists, people with non-lethal drug offenses, bloggers, etc., without due process. A lot of the you can't say anything anymore comedians are doing the festival. They had to adhere to censorship rules to do it. So here's the relevant passage. Content restrictions. Artists shall not prepare or perform any material that may be considered to degrade, defame, or bring into public disrepute, contempt, scandal, embarrassment, or ridicule, A, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, including its leadership, public figures, culture, or people, B, the Saudi royal family, legal system, or government, and C, any religion, religious tradition, religious figure, or religious practice. Now, if that's not a deal breaker for you, you're a fucking whore. And if you're a multimillionaire and you took this deal, you're the dirtiest whore in Tijuana. So here's Louis C.K. I mean, I guess he needs work, but to be fair, I understand there was a rider in his contract saying he could jerk off on anybody
in front of the audience. You don't even have to. You don't have to talk.
They have no passport. We take passport when they come. You jerk off on the whole hotel staff. They can't do nothing.
Well, where's my microphone? No microphone. You don't talk. You come out. You pull your dick. They clap. You walk out. That's it.
We pay you to pull your pad.
That's it. No microphone. You no talk. We don't like your stuff. We say you're mediocre.
You jerk off on front row. they pay double.
Yeah.
All right. So here he went on Bill Maher, who in one of the I don't have it, but in one of the most moronic statements you could imagine. Talks about how brave it was for him to go there.
There's only two restrictions. It's their religion and their government. And I don't have jokes about those two things. It used to be when you got offers from places like that, there'd be like long lists. And I just say, no, I don't need that. But when I heard it's opening, I thought that's all.
They've got much better lawyers now. They basically say the same thing in 2 paragraphs.
Awfully interesting. That just feels like a good opportunity. And I just think comedy is a great way to get in and start talking. And
except you're not allowed to actually talk about the government, the regime, their legal system, any of that. So how exactly is that a way to start talking? If they gave you carte blanche to say whatever you wanted. We talked about this online. Yeah, man. I could see taking that contract, going to Saudi Arabia, breaking all those rules, and then donating the money. That would be some base fucking shit, but that's not what they did.
There's Saudi Arabian comedians there. I love stand-up comedy, and I love comedians. So the fact that that's opening up and starting to bud, I want to see it. I want to be part of it.
Dave Chappelle, it was in the press today, saying that you can speak more freely over here than in America.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true.
Oh, it's not true.
Yeah. Well, Bill's not going to go along with that. All right, so let's see how they treat those Saudi comedians who are, by implication, he's implying, they're so happy. Like, if they're doing it, why shouldn't I do it? Well, they kind of perform with a gun or a rapier or a scimitar to their heads.
Right.
The organizer of the festival and chair of the GEA, Turkey Al-Sheikh, is a big fan of culture. Indeed, he reposted a song on X that celebrated the lead suspect in Jamal Khashoggi's murder. It's interesting that MBS has discovered a sense of humor, though, as the Crown Prince wasn't laughing when Massamir County, a South Park meets Family Guy-style satire, was picked up by Netflix and became one of the most popular shows in the region. Instead, its creator, Abdulaziz Al-Muzaini, was sentenced to a 13-year jail term and a 30-year travel ban for, quote, terrorism and promoting homosexuality. Others who have left MBS stony-faced, Fahed Al-Buteri, known as Saudi Arabia's Jerry Seinfeld. Have you ever noticed that when you go to the stoning, you can't get a rock just the right size for your hand? Who was allegedly handcuffed, blindfolded, and put on a plane to Saudi Arabia when performing in Jordan in 2018. He was also reported to have been forced to divorce his wife, a women's rights activist. Abdul Rahman Al-Sadan was jailed for 20 years for running a parody Twitter account. Tala Safwan, an Egyptian TikTok influencer and prankster, was arrested for a joke with, quote, lesbian subtext. And in 2018, a specific law was introduced to punish with jail sentences and fines anybody who produced satire online deemed to be mocking public order. Yeah, no, those comedians, man, they have a lot of freedom over there, those comedians that were sharing the stage with you. They weren't up there terrified to say the wrong thing or anything. So here's Tim Dillon, who fucked up, man. He took the money, but then he was a little too honest in the bit that he decided to do about taking the money.
What comedy? So what? Well, they have slaves, then they kill Hey. Get over it. So what? They have slaves. I imagine the slaves in those countries are good at what they do. Everyone that works at all the hotels, they take their passports. They're not allowed to leave. They're slaves. Hey, is the hotel nice? I'm not here to be a spoil sport. I'm not here to ruin the good time that everyone's having. Do I have issues with some of the policies towards women, towards the gays, towards the freedom of speech? Well, of course I do. But I believe in my own financial well-being. And I think you better start believing in that. Because when Peter Thiel puts all of you in a cage, you're going to want some way to get out of that. I'm not going to tell you how much they're paying me. It doesn't matter. Paying me $375,000 for one show. Now, a lot of other people are getting $1.6 million. That's not me. I'm not in that bracket. Others are getting 150. Why are they doing it? Here's the point. I am doing this because they're paying me a large sum of money. They're paying me enough money to look the other way. If something bad is happening to your left, look to your right. If, for example, I'm at a breakfast and I see someone get grabbed and they start hitting them with that, that big stick. I don't know if it's bamboo or whatever it is. It's kind of a wood, but it kind of snaps back. It's perfect for a cane. If I see someone getting it, I will look the other way. If I look.
So, yeah, the whole thing is up online. You get the idea. The Saudis didn't like that. That's how much freedom of speech these comics had. He got fired from the gig for that bit. They pulled him off the gig. Bill Burr is maybe the unkindest cut of all, although as somebody who literally wrote in Dave Chappelle for president a couple times, that one probably hurts me the most. But Bill Burr, I would say, is more culturally relevant at this time. So that's a big loss, man. The free Luigi guy, man, can never take him seriously again. Bill Burr defends his appearance at the Riyadh Comedy Festival, calling it, quote, one of the top 3 experiences I've had and mind-blowing. It was great to experience that part of the world and to be a part of the first comedy festival over there in Saudi Arabia. The Royals loved the show. Well, I bet they did because not everybody adhered to the rules of their contract. If they hadn't, we'd be hearing about it, right? Everyone was happy. The people that were doing the festival were thrilled. I had to stop a couple of times during the show and say, I'll be honest with you guys. I cannot fucking believe any of you have any idea who I am. It was just this great exchange of energy. They know their reputation, so they were extra friendly. Oh, hang on. Let me get this straight. As a fucking rich, famous comedian, they were very nice to you. They didn't treat you the way they treat the slaves that they take the passports from when they arrive at the airport, thinking that they're going to be hired labor and find out that they're going to be imprisoned slaves. They didn't treat you the way they treat those people. I can't believe that. I can't believe that as soon as you got off the plane, they didn't give you a good fucking caning. I can't believe that you got the best of the best while you were there. What a shocker. So here's this fucking hypocrite on his show. And this is another reason you'll never be able to take these people seriously again. Because he does his whole Bill Burr shtick like these people are crazy who are creating all this controversy, like God knows what I did. Well, now when you hear him using that tone about people who are yelling at him about his views on Luigi, you're going to think of this. You're going to think of this, and you're not going to be able to take him seriously because now you've taken what read as a principled stand and you've turned it into defensive shtick. And now it's always going to read as defensive shtick. So here's a little bit of that.
Hey, I don't know. Kind of seems like that kind of fucking dick. So to finally be in the middle of it and the level of like straight up lies is just, it's wild. And I'll be honest with you, I've been off the internet for like a fucking month, but just the shit people have been sending. It's funny, you get off the internet and people still send you shit. So like these stories of like there was no women there, he just performed to the Royals. By the time they're done with this shit, they're going to say I went over there and did a one-on-one show in a fucking tent staring at my toes and then I left.
All right. And having had to do the research for this segment, that's a total straw man. I don't know who the fuck is saying they performed just for the Royal. I haven't seen that anywhere. That didn't come up in any of my research. Complete straw man.
For the head fucking guy, whoever the hell it is over there, right?
This is just an evasion of the fact that, no, people are calling Bill Burr out for what he actually fucking did. Not for something he didn't do, as he's trying to frame it, for what he actually did, which he now goes on to describe.
Again, I performed in an arena over there. In the round, there was 8,000 people at the show. Okay? It was citizens. And then they had diplomats sitting down front in a nerve-wracking way for the performer to make...
What do you mean by citizens? What is that supposed to mean, citizens? So you're trying to suggest that these people have full human rights, so you didn't do anything wrong by being there? Is that what that means? Citizens? That's why you picked that word, citizens?
Sure that, you didn't talk about the 2 or 3 things that they said that they negotiated down to not talk about.
You mean their entire country, government, legal system, civilization, religious practices, that 2 or 3 things, like everything about the country that you might have commented on? That 2 or 3 things, you mean? It's just a little 2 or 3 things. They were citizens.
Again, as I said before, whoever put together the comedy festival and everything, what it did for freedom of speech over there, because before it started, you couldn't talk about all of this stuff, and then they whittled it down to just that, and that is how.
Oh yeah, what a message it sent out that these rich, privileged Westerners bent the knee to the royal family and went up on stage and refused to talk about the things that they were told not to talk about. What a triumph for freedom of speech. If anything, that put out the message to the population that even rich, privileged white Westerners can't overcome those speech restrictions.
Well, yeah, I mean, what Tim Dillon, said. I mean, he comes off far more respectable, even though he intended to take the money, because he just said, "Yeah, they're paying me enough money to look the other way." But that's an honest take. That's an honest representation. This is actually a push for human rights in Saudi Arabia.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. A lot of them are trying to frame it that
movement in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Well, if
opening
that were the
up
case,
Saudi
you should have done it for free.
Arabia.
If that were the case, then you should have done it for free, right? If it's just great cause,
donate the money.
Then donate the money, right?
Sure. And actually, if they had all done that, I don't even know if I would have even done the segment, because I would have felt like it's a complicated situation, or maybe we would have, and that would have been my take.
Right.
Like, hey man, I don't know. I mean, if you gave millions of dollars to charity, what can I say?
If you truly care about stuff like that, you gradually move towards something more positive. All right? I mean, and I have to tell you, all right, all of this sanctimonious shit out there, I'm going to tell you something right now. I saw, in 33 years of stand-up, I've never seen anybody with bigger balls, and I'm not going to say the name of the comedian, even though you're going to figure it out. I'm just trying not to get anybody else this fucking shit coming at him. Went on over there, openly gay.
Oh, that's beautiful.
In the middle of the set, 2 of the diplomats got up to go to the bathroom, and this person said, "Hey, where are you going? Are you going to go on Grindr?" I mean,
things are changing.
I've seen them all. I've never seen anybody. It's like, I don't have the balls.
And the sweet air of freedom swept through the room.
Balls to say that. And the fact that her own people came at her and all of that, it's disgusting. It really is. That's what they're going to clip. Bill says fucking the reaction to da-da-da is disgusting. And I'll tell you what else is amazing and really confusing to me is what we did over there wasn't even on TV. However, what everybody's complaining about was on TV the week before. On a different event, and nobody said anything. So, and that's the difference between being a $1 billion conglomerate and being an independent contractor. It's kind of like, how if you go back to I don't want to talk anymore about it, but like I said, I would love to answer all of this stuff. I'm not afraid of any of these questions. I would love to answer them. It's just that the way that it is being used. And my favorite thing, I did a couple of sets last night, and I didn't run into any of the special ones when I was down there. But I'm really looking forward to that when I do, because I know this is how this shit goes down. Yada, yada, yada is said over here. And then when you run into the person face to face, this is what's always said. Hey, man. Hey, man. How's it going?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So anyone who has an issue with this is a hypocrite, or they're just mining content for clips. And when they see him face to face, I guess he's talking about comedians who are taking exception to this. They're not going to say that shit to his face. So yeah, you're a victim of I don't know, woke mob or something. Everyone's unreasonable. That is not what Bill Burr had to say back before he had, more money than God. This is what he had to say about playing for the sons of Muammar Gaddafi back in 2011. I don't know who found this, whether it's the person who posted here, Solitary Men in Black, but God bless him.
What is it? Usher, Beyonce, and Mariah Carey actually did private New Year's gigs for $1 million. Did New Year's gigs for Gaddafi's kids. Can you fucking believe that? How much fucking money do you need to make? You're gonna take a gig where you're gonna go dance like a goddamn fucking clown for a mass murderer's kids? And then you take that fucking blood money, stick it in your bank account, go buy yourself some fucking glitter or whatever the hell you do when you're a goddamn singer. Buy some more streamers to hang on your fucking mic stand. And then when you get busted, you try to play it off like you had no idea who Gaddafi is and what he's done. You couldn't remember.
It's worth mentioning the Saudis have way more blood on their hands than Gaddafi.
Gaddafi
yes.
Absolutely.
Remember that he claimed he was behind the Pan Am bombings that killed fellow Americans? The fuck is wrong with you?
What? you went to the country that whatever conspiracy there might be behind it, they were definitely complicit in 9/11. There's no question about that. You went to that fucking country and you're talking about Pan Am?
Yeah.
I love that shit where they tried to play it off like they had no idea. Okay, at the low level of entertainment that I'm at, anytime I do a private gig,
that's the
they always tell you what the deal is. I don't do private gigs anymore because, as Dane Cook classically put, you feel like you're being rented. That's the greatest way to describe how you feel when you do that gig. See, if you come out to a comedy club or a theater to see my act, you get my act and I get to say whatever I want. But if you hire me to perform for your company or a private fucking Christmas party or some shit like that, like I used to do those gigs, there's always a list. This is what they do. Stay away from this. And you either comply to the list.
You don't do that.
Or you just don't take the gig. The last thing you do is say, yeah, no problem. Then you show up and you do your Lenny Bruce fucking set and then walk away thinking you're a badass. You're not a badass. You're just an asshole.
Let me stop that before it gets flagged. Yeah, man. Yeah, I guess this is a really good example of you either die a hero or live long enough to be the villain, because literally everything he accused them of is what he did.
Yeah,
and he mentioned, I'll just finish up. This is who he's clearly talking about with the grinder joke. The one person here, did she do it because her fans gave her particular backlash? Maybe. But you know what? She actually did the right thing. Lesbian stand-up comedian Jessica Kirsch expresses sincere regret for Riyadh Comedy Festival performance. Now, why do I say she did the right thing? I have donated the entirety of what I was paid to perform there to a human rights organization. I made this decision because I want that money to go to an organization that can help combat these severe issues. Now, look, we don't know her. We can't know her heart. We can't know if this is, whoa, she saw the backlash and decided she needs to save her career. If she just wrote a statement, that's definitely how I would take it. The fact that she's getting rid of the money, that's it, man. I mean, that's all you shouldn't have done the gig in the first place, which she admits, and now you're giving back the money. You want your apology to be sincere. That's what you have to do. As far as I know, she's the only one who actually did the gig and then actually expressed real contrition. And the only thing I would consider real contrition is that you need to give up that money. You need to give away that money. These guys, Dave Chappelle saying he has more freedom to speak in Saudi Arabia. Now you have branded yourself an absolute clown. You have so beclowned yourself. You can never again be taken seriously on any subject you want to talk about, whether that's trans activism or anything else, because people are just going to throw in your face. Dave Chappelle went up on a stage in Saudi Arabia and said he has more freedom here than in the United States. And we're not flag wavers. We're not naive about the hypocrisies around freedom of speech in the United States. But fucking come on. Come on. We don't have women who are assaulted being beaten in the streets for adultery. To say something like that, you have completely torched your credibility. And Bill Burr doing this whole, oh yeah, the mob is coming after me thing. Now that discredits every other bit he did with that take to defend himself, and it's gonna sound that way going forward. Even when you're right now, you're a clown nobody could take seriously, and you can almost hear him panicking. You can hear him panicking because I think a lot of them thought, who's gonna really care? And they're finding out now they did serious damage to their careers.
Yeah, and they're going to have to answer for this for a long time. You know, I hope they factored that into the price, right? When they took the bag of money, right? Because not only are they getting paid to do the gig, but you know, now they're going to have to take shit for this for free for the rest of their life. So you have to weigh that against the initial invoice that you sent them for the gig.
And was it worth it?
Right? Was it worth it? Right, for a $400,000 check,
especially for Chappelle, for Burr. How much fucking money do those guys have? Pete Davidson, your father died on 9/11. I don't care what they offered you. How do you take that gig? Amazing.
It's the thing. It's very unbecoming for rich people to be just that greedy, right? Like, it's not a life-changing amount of money for you if you're Dave Chappelle. Let's say you're the guy who got the 1.6. What is that to you? Or Bill Burr, or any of these people.
Right.
Like, it just comes off as so craven, right? And as for the line, well, they gave us a list of what we couldn't say. At that point, because Bill Burr mentioned about how, you can do a Lenny Bruce thing and be an asshole. That's kind of like, as I understand, comics hate being told what they are allowed to and not allowed to say. That's one of the things you're not supposed to do. I remember there was a story of Norm Macdonald doing Iowa State University athletic department fundraiser, which was like a family-oriented gig. And he probably knew that going in. And like, it's for family. So he probably would have just like tailored his set to the appropriate audience, but they got a talking to before they went on. Okay, now this is a family show, so no foul language, no taboo topics. You got to keep it clean. And he was apparently so offended that they would order him around that way that he says, yeah, no problem. I'll keep it family friendly. He goes out on the stage and he says, I can understand being gay, but what's in it for the ass guy? That must suck to get pounded in the ass over and over again. Even if you're gay, how could you want to be that guy? And mass walkouts. I think they banned him from Iowa. They had to apologize. But that's the thing. Like, a comic probably is offended that you would tell him that. Right. That either offended that you're going to censor them, or that you don't have enough respect that they would know to tailor their work to the appropriate audience if it's a family venue. So if they're telling you, oh, here's a list of things you can't talk about. Okay, well then what are you talking about? Oh, I'm freer here than I am anywhere than I am in the United States. Yeah, you're an invited celebrity guest who's there to do what is essentially just your being there is to do propaganda for the regime.
Exactly. You're giving them credibility.
Right. And by the way, it's a genocidal regime. I mean, they did a genocide in Yemen. This is a genocidal regime. This is not too different from going to Israel, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's where I say, man, a lot of people say, what about these countries? I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Of course.
I apply the same standard to Saudi Arabia.
Right. Exactly.
Please clap.